Hello, and welcome to Babblings of a 20-something. Babblings is an audio diary podcast. It's my stream of consciousness and really my quarter-life crisis attempt at redirection. You get it, it's hosted by me, Allie Ann, and each week I'm going to babble about what's going on in my life, the lessons I'm learning, but really just all the shitty dating that I'm doing. I have got to talk to somebody about this. Basically, I'm documenting my 20-somethings for all of our entertainment, and maybe you can relate. If not, it's at least gonna be funny. As always, explicit and graphic content warning. I just really want to put that out there. Who knows what I'm gonna say, and I will talk about it explicitly and graphically. Seriously, if you're gonna get offended, don't listen. I'm really just saying that because I don't want any of my family to text me, you know? You get it. Anyways, love you and enjoy! Hello, welcome back. Welcome to episode 6 of Babblings with a 20-something. I'm so excited if you are here. Thank you so much for tuning in. My episode 5, last time I checked, had like 38 views. Are you guys kidding me? Stop it. I love it. I think some people would think that, I don't know. I have no expectations and I just love it. I just love that people are listening because I mean, might as well, and I do love to entertain, and I do love to share. With that being said, it is episode 6, and it is my Valentine's Day special. Was that cute? Did you guys like that? Thanks. This is coming out on Monday the 13th, right? Because I'm pretty sure Tuesday is actually Valentine's Day. Let me check. Yeah. Tuesday is actually Valentine's Day, so this is coming out on Monday, but I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. I love Valentine's Day, clearly. You guys, if you're watching, I've got my heart headband on. I'm in like a black, silky, hot. I'm in like a black, silky pajama set, which is cute. I hung up hearts behind me. I am sorry if it's dark, but I missed the sun. Sorry. It's been a busy day. I did have to do other things. But I've got my candles lit. You see my roses that I got for myself. So there are, it's like sensual. It's like playing into the vibe. The darkness is making it romantic. Agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. Oh, shit. I think I cramped my foot. Hold on. Valentine's Day is honestly one of my favorite holidays. I feel like a lot of people feel like it's really manufactured, and obviously it is. It's a holiday, to spend money. Duh. But I love love. So for me, it's just another day to put on pink and hearts. And I mean, I'm the same almost every day, so I spread love and joy everywhere I go. I try and sprinkle it behind me. But on Valentine's Day, it's just a little extra special. It's a little extra sweeter. And, babblings of a 20-something, graphic content warning. We're going to get a little spicy. We're going to talk about a little bit of, who knows what's going to come. Well, I know it's going to come up because I have notes. But I rarely follow my notes, so we will see what's going to come up. I wanted to get wine, but I forgot. And so the only thing that, I really feel like drinking right now is Fireball. So we've got my champagne flute of Fireball. So I need to take a drink. And then let's get into it. I'm nervous. I'm going to have to chase it with water. This is what grown-ups do, okay? All you little hoes out there, this is what grown-ups do. They chase Fireball with water. I'm not going to do this whole thing. I'm going to do half. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I could have done all of that. Woo! All right, are you ready to get spicy? Speaking of Valentine's, I don't have a Valentine this year. Aww, tears. But you guys, I'm not sad because it's going to be the first year in a long time that I don't have to force someone to be my Valentine because they think it's stupid and that Valentine's Day should be every day of the year. Well, baby, I would love Valentine's Day to be every day of the year. But you're not getting me flowers any other motherfucking day of the year. Okay, I'm not getting chocolates any other day. I'm not getting anything romantic any other day. So, oh my god. Especially because it's my favorite holiday. Like, sometimes I just think relationships are so much about compromise. And that's one of those things that it's not hard to participate in. It's not hard if your partner really loves and enjoys celebrating holidays and specifically loves Valentine's Day. And I don't ask for a lot. Like, I got this from the Dollar Tree and just decorated, I just like to be fun and to be cute. It's fun. And I grew up in a house where I got a Valentine's Day present every day from my mom. So, you're not gonna give me a Valentine. I've been getting a Valentine's Day present every single year. And my papa usually gets me something. So, that brings me on another note. But we're gonna have to circle back. Because I want to talk about that later. Because first, I turned the light on because it was getting really dark. Okay. First things first. Hot take of the week. Here's my hot take. Hot take, we need to decriminalize sex work. And that's not really a hot take because people have been saying that forever. And a lot of people have been working very hard for a very long time to try and make that accomplished. But it's not something that gets talked a lot about. I mean, especially in mainstream media. And one, because it's taboo, because it's sex, right? And then it's sex work. And we've all been conditioned with these patriarchal, extremely conservative, biblical bullshit to make us feel like we can't be empowered through sex and that it is negative. And it's really just to keep women down, a big part of it, to keep anybody that wants to express themselves down. And I think when you are in touch with your sexual power, no one can take you down. Honestly. I mean, you go look at Cleopatra, the greatest seductress of all time. She was in her sexual power, and I'm sure it was devastating. And it's also a case of a woman being in a place where that was all she had to use. But I think, it goes to show that maybe not so much has changed. Still in this day, like Cleopatra, I think a lot of us feel like our sexuality and pleasing a man is the way that we're going to further ourselves and get ahead. Anyways, side note, but I'm talking about sex work specifically and decriminalizing it. I was reading a couple articles. You guys, it's so easy to go on Google Scholar and Google scholarly articles instead of just Googling regular Google, because, you're still going to find, things that aren't sourced well or aren't cited or made it. You're still going to find, maybe things that you shouldn't completely, believe 1,000%, but it's totally better. And you're going to get a better perspective, I think, when you're, looking at, scholarly articles of how they're going to lay things out versus, God love them, but, versus a Cosmopolitan article that will pop up if you were to Google decriminalize sex work. Anyways, I was reading this article, and it's been on my mind a lot. I mean, it's always been on my mind because sex work is on my mind a lot. And also, sex trafficking is on my mind a lot. And I think people conflate the two. Is that the right word? I hope I use that correctly. People try to enmesh them and make them the same thing, but they're totally separate. Yes, they intermingle and uphold the other, but sex work isn't innately bad. Sex trafficking, yes, that's bad. Sex work, someone who is a consenting adult who wants to use their sexual nature to support themselves, there's obviously customers, right? I think everybody forgets that. It's not like there aren't consumers for the product that sex workers are giving. There are consumers, and it's not as if the product goes away, the need won't go away. It's never going to go away. And so I was reading this article and it's talking about how there's like 3 different ways that people look at what to do with sex work. Let me actually, can I read you guys the abstract? Can I read you the abstract? Because it was really good. I'm going to link a bunch of stuff in the notes for today's episode. This is also a good first run of me doing a little bit extra prep work on working on something and researching something a little bit for you guys. So let me know how you like that. Definitely make sure to check out the episode notes and the description for all the links to anything that I cite and even more links. Okay, so this was from a PhD student who's studying sociology of sexuality. It's called Decriminalization of Sex Work, Feminist Discourses in Light of Research by Jacqueline Comte. I'm assuming that's how you say that last name. Again, it's going to be linked below, but I just wanted to read you guys the abstract because I think it gives you a good overview of what it's about and what I'm going to talk about that I've been pulling away from it. 3 main ideological stances exist regarding sex work issues: abolitionism, sex-positive feminism, and decriminalization. We argue for decriminalization based on decades of research results. Researchers on female sex workers are most often done through feminist theory and focus on gender relations and on the experience of oppression and/or agency. They examine the motivation to do sex work, the experience of being objectified, the stigma related to sex work, and finally, the impact of this kind of work on self-esteem, on couple relationships, and on social relationships. Researches on male sex workers examine power dynamics, representations of masculinity, self-perception, and the socioeconomic conditions that lead to sex work and influence safe sex practices. Usually, feminist approaches do not take the experiences of male sex workers into account. However, taking these experiences into consideration would give a broader perspective to the understanding of sex work, as the experiences of male sex workers show many aspects similar to those of female sex workers. We contend that a woman's sexual experience has been socially constructed as being part of her identity in such a way that she becomes socially devalued whenever she does not comply to the norms, thus making sex work a degrading, in quotations, experience, though it is not intrinsically so. So that's exactly what I'm saying. It is not inherently bad the same way that sex trafficking, the crime, is inherently bad. Yes, you're trafficking humans for the purposes of sex and sex work, and obviously they're probably not getting compensated, they're there against their will, they've been kidnapped, yada, yada, yada. And that is a huge issue. Where I live in Ohio, there's a very, very high rate of trafficking. I have had personal, up-close experience with someone being trafficked, and they had a child. So I'm not negating that fact, but I'm not getting into the whole save the children bullshit. Sorry, this is not a QAnon podcast. Go listen to somebody else, okay? Yes, sex trafficking is a problem. And I think that people think, if we get rid of sex work, then it's going to get rid of everything. And I just don't think that it's plausible to, one, say we can completely abolish sex work in every capacity, because obviously it's been created out of a necessity and out of, a consumer looking for a product. And so, and mainly, men looking for a product. And if they want something, they're going to find a way to get it and to make it happen. And also, I think that takes away the agency from the people participating and consenting to participate in sex work. They want to do that. So now you're taking away what could be a work option to support them from something, and taking away that agency and thinking that they don't really want to do that, or they're just doing it out of necessity. That might not be always the case. So that's why I'm talking about decriminalization, because I think once we stop making these things crimes, and also the article talks a lot about taking away what that would do, and I agree, and I have the same thoughts on how decriminalization and taking away the stigma go hand in hand so much. Taking that away from sex work takes it out of the dark and sheds light onto it. And I don't understand how people don't get that, like, if you make it legal, then they're going to have to put legal boundaries and rules in place to make sure even more that it's safe, instead of it being shady and dark. And obviously sex workers are scared to go to the police because they all are fucking bastards, and they're going to get charged with a crime in turn, instead of going to the police looking for help because somebody harmed them. They're not going to report it because they're going to get charged themselves, right? So if they're not going to get charged with a crime, then they're so much more likely to obviously report a crime that happened to them, or a time that they felt unsafe, or if they're in a situation where they're providing a service, to then call the police or call for help and not have the fear of themselves getting in trouble as well. It also helps be able to crack down on these people that are facilitating the trafficking. Because if it's legal to do this sex work, then don't you think, like, how you have a job and you have to have all of these things and you go through a process, and there's like security process, there's background checks, there's all these orders of like procedures, there's policies. Obviously, yes, crime can still go on because it happens everywhere, whether there's policy and laws or not. But if there are more standards, practices, policies, and procedures in order to do this sex work legally, then that obviously doesn't incentivize the people that are doing the trafficking to do this more, because they're more at risk. Or also, if someone is being trafficked, I'm saying it's going to be harder for them to facilitate those types of meetings. If somebody's running a legit sex working business, I don't know, where it's like legit, and instead of it being like some shady warehouse building, like, no, you can't just stick a 16-year-old in there. Whereas in the warehouse, where like there's no regulations, no protection, no oversight, yeah, you're going to throw a fucking 13-year-old in there. Nobody's going to say shit because you're all there under the same fucking pretenses. And then if someone is being trafficked, they're more likely to go and ask for help than to get out of that situation, because they won't in turn be charged with a crime. I have personal hands-on experience of someone not wanting help because they themselves would have been charged with a crime. I have personal hands-on experience of the police, child services, not doing anything to try and intervene on this situation. And if doing what that mother was doing was legal, and if she would have gone to the police and not been threatened to go to jail, to be arrested, and to have her child taken away from her, then she would have been able to say, help me, without then in turn also fearing for her own life and consequences in her own life. Like, does that not compute with these fucktards? I don't get it. I don't get it, and I think it goes to the idea that people think that sex workers are doing it all the time only out of necessity or because they have to. But I feel like with OnlyFans, the rise of OnlyFans has only shown us that there are a lot of people consenting and wanting to participate and that are fine participating in sex work because they see the money and it is what it is, and I want to get paid. I was reading another article. What's it called? Of course, like I said, it'll be linked. But it's called Sexual Attitudes and Characteristics of OnlyFans Users. Stacey Diane Arenas, Megan Special, and Richard S. Balkin. 2022. But I just pulled out, this was interesting, that during COVID, because if I think back to when I think that, OnlyFans really started to go on the rise, obviously COVID. And so I was kind of looking for some information on that. And they said in this research article that they saw that OnlyFans saw a 75% increase of signups during the months of March and April 2020. And they attribute that sign up really to COVID and sex workers being displaced from like face-on-face interactions and other people being unemployed and seeing the opportunity that was sex work on OnlyFans. And then it continued to be popular, and I think that's for a reason, and for many sex workers were able to then gain notoriety, fame, and make money on OnlyFans. It was a really great platform and a way for them to finally have control over the content that they are putting out, the pricing that they are putting things out, and just having a lot of more control, and also putting some separation and some guidelines and some safety into their lives that maybe they didn't have before. There's some really great, probably Vice documentaries. I'm pretty sure it was Vice when I watched it, about sex work. One of it was about in DC. But you just look at these sex workers, and a lot of them are asking for decriminalization. They're not asking for abolition. They're asking for the right to do what they're doing, for it to not be a crime, and then for there to be additional safety policy, regulations, and guidelines for this profession that is, the beginning of time profession. Prostitution is nothing new. No sex work is new. And for a long time, all that women could be, and all that some, not even just women, I think also like displaced men, queer people, anybody that didn't have the upper hand, anybody that wasn't white, a white man in society, cis man in society, turned to sex work when they were outcast because it was a way that they could make money. And it was a way, and it was already a business, and there are already customers. So I think people really get fucked up in the head when they start thinking about sex work and start thinking about only sex workers, because who is the fucking consumer? Your husband is the consumer. Y'all are so worried about hashtag save the motherfucking QAnon kids. Y'all are not worried about, who's most likely to be a predator? Somebody you know. Somebody you know. So I would worry about your house before you go worrying about my girl Tiffany's house, okay? Because Tiffany's making bank, and she wants to feel safe making bank. Hashtag decriminalize sex work. I mean, who hasn't thought about having, about having an OnlyFans? Who hasn't thought about having an OnlyFans? I have, obviously, hello. I mean, the gun has been bought, the bullets are loaded, safety's off. I just gotta cock it and pull it, bitch. I just gotta pull the trigger. I just haven't felt like it, and I'm not sure if I'm to. And I'm so anxious, but it's not like I haven't thought about it. I'm a very sexual person, and probably should be something I'd be good at. Aren't they the cutest? So cute, I can't take it. You're on my podcast. Do you want to say hi?
Oh, hi. How's everybody doing? I'm having a fantastic week. Bud and I has our first dance today, so that's a fun thing.
Yay!
I love you.
I love you. I love you.
Okay. Bye, baby.
Bye. All right. Well, I've just been a bit bopping and bullshitting away. Okay, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? I think I'm done talking about OnlyFans. I just got so distracted. That was my mom. She just called me. My sister's going to her first school dance ever, but it's also her first freshman dance for Valentine's Day. She's such a little baby. I love her so much. I can't believe it, like, seeing, so we're 10 years apart, and just seeing her, especially the last few months, blossom into this, like, beautiful, amazing person, but also, like, be little, like, me's and, like, little of my siblings. Like, she's just all of us so combined. It's so precious, and it's really making me feel old. It's really making me feel old because I still feel like that teenager in high school. So for her to now be that and to be acting that way and to be so fucking cool is bizarre. But I love my baby. Shout out. She's going to be on the podcast sometime because she's going to nag me till the end of days if I do not get her on my podcast. So it's Valentine's Day. Like I said, this is going to be my first Valentine's Day in a while without a Valentine, but it's going to probably feel like every other Valentine's Day. So when I did have a Valentine, so it's probably fine. No, it is hard though. It is hard being single and all the love flying around. And I talked a lot about last week about being a lover girl and feeling very romantic, but not having anybody to, apply those feelings to. It's a little overwhelming, but it again is exciting, and I'm just really glad that I feel those feelings and that I feel like my cup is full enough because I'm doing so much self-love that it runneth over, like I said. So but it is hard, and it can get lonely, and I think people, this is just like I said, it is, the holiday, a Hallmark holiday, and it is definitely a time where people can use to show off their relationship in a better light than maybe their relationship really is in. You never really know. You can't go off social media. You feel like that my relationship, you probably never would have thought we had broken up. Anybody that's known me, so many have told to me that they thought that was a for sure thing. And it wasn't. And so this Valentine's Day, I need you to get the fuck over your ex. Sorry to my ex. You're probably going to want to skip this part. Sending you love, peace and love. But you're not going to want to listen to this segment because I'm going to be serious. Because I need you guys to get over your exes. Because how am I over my ex and you bitches aren't over your ex? I've been in love with this man for 14 years, and I have enough self-control to have space, time, and distance, and y'all are in situationships with somebody you've known for, I don't know, even if you've known them for 3 years, what are you doing? Get off the ground. Stand up. I saw this TikTok, and it was like, do you want to walk down the aisle and imagine that person that you're walking down to doing the thing that they did to hurt you? No, you don't. And somebody's like, oh my God, I never thought of that. Why do you think I broke up? Because I constantly always thought, oh my God, how am I going to commit to the rest of my life? How am I going to walk down an aisle in front of all the people that we both love and cherish and respect and say that and not picture all of the bullshit that you did to me? How do you not picture all the bullshit I did to you? Like, no, at some point you got to draw the line, and you do not want that man that did that to you to be the man that you walk down the aisle to. I promise you. I promise you. And you can work through things, and things happen. And like my mom always says, you can work through the amount of challenge that you personally are capable of working through. But you need to know your limits. And if you met your limits and broke up, you guys, get over your ex. I don't know. Like, I feel like all I have to do is, I'm sorry that I'm like cold-hearted and a bitch, but I'm not. I just, like, don't pick up the phone and text. Like, don't send the text. Put your phone down and don't send the text. If you need to stop and screen record this or do whatever you need to do, if you take anything from this episode and you need this as your alarm, stop, put your phone down, don't send that text. They're a piece of shit and they're not worth your time because you need to get the fuck over your ex. Get over it. Get over them. Get over your ex. If you're supposedly done with someone, get over it. In the words of Miley Cyrus, I'm into a lot of freaky stuff, but I don't fuck dead guys. And once you're gone, you're dead to me. And that's how I feel too. Not with everybody, but I don't know. I just feel like at some point, you have to take responsibility for what you're enabling to happen in your life. You can't control other people. You can't control if he messages you. You can't control if he DMs you. You can't control if he's watching your stories. You can't control if he calls you. You can't control any of that. What you can control is whether you, 1, care, whether you, 2, block him, and whether you, 3, answer. He can text you, don't respond. If there's not a mean, if a response isn't necessary, or if it's just to cause drama, don't respond. If he hasn't messaged you, and I'm saying he, but this is a he, they, them, she, her. This is an everyone, anybody opposing you, just in most of my situations. In all of my situations, my exes have been men, so I'm just getting my frustration of men out. But please apply as necessary to yourself, okay? Oh, no, I forgot what I was saying. If you're saying you're done with him, and he's done something to make you be done, or they've done something to break your trust, to hurt your feelings, they haven't been adequately holding up their end of the bargain as your partner, and times get tough, and I've been in a long-term relationship, and I know the difference between like settling and having like platonic months versus romantic months, and being with a roommate conversation. Like, I get that whole thing. There's a difference between just having to deal with the longevity of a relationship and what that means when you're spending so much repeated time with someone. You do have to work in order to continue. You have to continue to choose to love someone. But there's a difference between that and cheating. Personally, somebody asked me, they're like, you would be upset if like your partner hooked up with someone? Yeah, if that's not like the boundaries set, if those are aren't the rules we're playing by, like, just tell me the rules. Tell me the rules, and if I agree with those rules, I'll go with them, and I'm up to a lot of different kind of rules. Some days I want this rule, some days I want that rule. I don't know. But if the rule is that neither of us are going to talk to anybody else, sleep with anybody else, get emotionally involved with anybody else, then those are the rules that I'm personally playing by, and I expect you to play by. So if they're not playing by the rules, if they did something to hurt you to the point where you need to end that relationship, end the relationship. Get over it. How do you do that, Allie? You need to work on yourself. You need to turn inwards. You need to turn all of that energy inwards, and you need to work on self-love. You need to be tracking your thoughts. Why do you need this validation? What are you trying to fill up with the validation from this other person? Why do you feel the need to continue to prolong the inevitable, which is you don't need to be together? So like, why like prolong it? Like, the universe is like, you're going to keep doing this, then we're going to have to keep waiting for you to stop in order to give you what's next. Break the cycle, cut that shit off, cut them off, work on, you have to know, and it comes from And it does working on yourself, working on self-love, working on self-worth, and knowing that at the end of the day, you came into this world with yourself. You're going to go out of this world with yourself. When no one is around, all you're going to have is yourself. Can you live with yourself if you continue this behavior and you continue this energy in your life? Because if you continue this negative energy, you continue in this negative cycle, how are you going to meet the person you're supposed to be with? How are you going to meet that person that's going to love you unconditionally and be there for you if you can't get over this person that does not love you and respect your boundaries? That means you don't respect your boundaries. That is a hard fucking lesson I had to learn, is that if they don't respect my boundaries and I continue to leave them around, that means I don't fucking respect myself. I'm getting heated. I love you guys. I don't mean to get heated. I just want us to respect ourselves. I want you guys to let these shitty partners go. Stop putting up with shitty shit. And it's hard. It is hard. People, if you're someone in my life and you think that I didn't have a hard time with my breakup, you're crazy. I had an awful time. It was the most devastating thing that I've ever done, and I've gone through so many things in my life, and it was one of the most devastating things that I've ever done, because ultimately I was breaking my life down to the studs and saying, this is not the life that I want to continue living, and I need to do it now before I get in deeper. It's going to hurt this much now. It's going to hurt even worse if it's in 10 years and we have 2 kids and house. It's going to, how much worse is it going to hurt? And it definitely, there's the fear of being alone, the fear of not being loved. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that goes back to doing the work, to knowing that you are enough. And also, I'm not this super pseudo this new age spirituality, you blah blah blah, and that's not what I'm talking about, because I don't think you need to be fully healed in order to be in an amazing relationship. But I do think you need to at least show up 90% together, or at least in that 10% is things that aren't going to enable bad behavior. There are things that probably need to be worked on, may come up, but they're not going to harm physically, emotionally, mentally anyone in the relationship. Otherwise, you need to work through some things before you're in a relationship with someone else, to stop distracting from all of the things that you need to work on. Okay? So, shout out to all of you. I'm gonna get up here. I'm just tired of you bitches. Come on, level up. Come with me. Get over them. Don't let them treat you like that. You know what I said one time? I said, I will let you know. I'll let you know when I need you. That's what I said. Let's take a knee. Cheers to loving ourselves. I'm in the link below, this self-love course that I'm doing. It's just a really cute little module. It's a free one. She has a much larger, in-depth one. It's a free one. And also, if you're into witchy stuff, you're going to like this too. But it has helped me and given me some really good journal prompts and all that stuff for free. Why not, Cheers to loving ourselves, hating our exes, and fucking the rest is. Cheers. Happy Valentine's Day! Okay, now that you've gotten over your ex, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. If you're only watching visual porn, and I said porn, but I mean adult entertainment. If you're only watching visual, baby, Sorry. I had a... Ooh. The fireball's got me hot. The fireball's got me hot. Ooh, the fireball and the thought of Quinn has got me hot tonight. Okay, here's the thing. You need to be getting your corn through SMUT. We'll use SMUT, so we're going to switch to SMUT. You need to be getting your SMUT, whatever is going to rev your engine. If you're not reading or listening to audio to get your SMUT, what are you doing? What are you doing? AO3, fanfiction.com, Wattpad, if you must. If you don't start reading some horny books, what are you doing? You need to open your mind, and then you need to have your partner read that book so that they can open their mind, and you can be like, oh my god. Because, and I think here's the difference, especially between a lot of like visual porn, because it's smut, because it's so produced and so much made for like a cis hetero male audience, that there's a lot of us who oppose that or identify, as femme, have kind of internalized that and have used it to create our own sexual fantasies. I think the power behind reading smut, because especially a lot of the time it's going to be written by women. It's going to be written by a woman author, and you just see the difference. You see the difference, and when you're listening to audio. So I use Quinn. I have a Quinn membership. Quinn, sponsor me. And it's my favorite thing in the entire world. I listen to an audio pretty much every night, and it goes along with the same thing as like reading my smutty books, where there's just a lot of mental engagement. And with visual porn, you're not getting that same kind of stimulation. And the same thing in the books. It's a lot of the masculine figure in the relationship. It's a lot of them like just actually acknowledging the feminine as a person, or that they're smart, or talking to them through it. And I love talking, and I love being romantic, and it's all of those things that get wrapped up into it that make it such an experience. And especially for women, people that identify as femme, queer, like the just straight doing it doesn't do anything for me. And I'm saying for specific people, but I think it's for everyone. I think everyone, he, they, she, should be listening to audio porn, to smut. I think everybody should be listening to it, because I think it's all something that we're missing. Because while like traditional porn has been developed for that cis hetero man, there are so many men or masculines that don't want that also want the engagement of talking, of romantic, of connection, of sensuality, of not just the hit it and quit it stereotype. And I think it really unlocks this door for people to see that the image of sex that is thrown at us constantly is not what sex is, and to really dive into like an intimate relationship and what that can look like. And I do a lot of manifesting. If you want to do like sex magic or whatever, I do a lot of manifesting, and a lot of that comes from me because like this kind of interactions with this kind of like gentleness. It doesn't always have to be gentle. Not gentle in a way of like not rough, but gentle in a way of like caring, of romantic, of seeing each other, of understanding that I'm a person. I think like these are the kind of interactions, that I want to have. And I think it's really important to open yourself up and to know, because you can't know what to ask for if you don't know what that looks like. How do you ask for something without knowing or experiencing what that is, especially if the other person on the other side also has never experienced that kind of very intimate sexual encounter that's not just the typical, rough, throw you around, hit it and quit it, smack you. Like, it's just like, that's just so not what sex is, and that's also so not what kink is. What's displayed to us. Kink is so consensual and so gentle and so loving. Even if that is not what it looks like, there has to be that in order for it to be a safe place for people to express themselves. And so whether it's kink or not, the bedroom has to be a safe place. And I think a lot of that comes with communication, understanding what your partner likes, your partner's love style, understanding and communicating and saying, do you like this? Or I like this? Or wait, we don't communicate, say what you want. And when you take that barrier down of there can't be conversation or interaction, it just has to be the act. When you get rid of that idea and take that barrier down, the communication is just free flowing. What do you want me to tell you? I'll tell you. What do you want me to say? I'll say it. You guys, I've been thinking, I saw a TikTok because Quinn is on TikTok so much, and I saw that you could submit to be a content creator, and I've kind of been thinking about it. I don't know. I'm going to give you guys, this is my audition. Let me know what you think, and I might send it in as an actual audition for Quinn. Are you ready? Hey. Stop. No, I know. I missed you too. I've just been so busy. Yeah. Wait, come here. No, I don't. What do you mean, why am I giggling so much? You make me giggle. Come here. Yeah, come here. I wanna be close. What did you guys think of that? That's my audition. I'm not gonna make any sounds for you. That's like a whole exposition. What do you think of my scene? No, that's not how I would sound if I was doing an audio. I'd be like, oh, edit it out. Whatever I just said needs to be edited out. But yeah, no, seriously, guys, look into Quinn. Look up some smut. If you're looking for some book smut, all you gotta do is go on Book Talk and go to Spicy Book Talk. You're gonna find all the recs and all the different kinds of categories. If you want an ice, space, barbarian, a blue man from outer space with a huge dong, you can get them. If you're like me and you want Draco and Hermione fan fiction, specifically 8th year, and they bang in the astronomy tower, I got you on that too. Hit me up if you want Rex. With that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic Valentine's Day. And even if you don't have a Valentine or a Galentine or whatever, I just hope that you take the day to respect yourself, to love yourself, and to put some energy into the amazing person that you are. Please make sure to check out the different links below. I also am going to link some amazing organizations that are out there working on behalf of sex workers. A lot of them are sex worker led, which are amazing organizations. So check that out if that's something you feel called to and want to participate in. If you need an idea of some kind of self-love for you to do, I would suggest on Friday, the day of Venus, take some time, meditate, go out for a walk, do a little bit of journaling about, I'll put a journal prompt below for self-love, and just take the day loving yourself, buy yourself some roses like I do every Friday, and take the time to appreciate all that you have. This was episode 6 of Balance of a 20-something. I hope you took something away. If anything, I hope you took away my rec for audio porn. Anyways, love you guys. Bye!
Woohoo! You made it! Thank you for listening to Babblings of a 20-something. Babblings is produced, edited, and hosted by yours truly, Allie Ann. You can find Babblings across podcast platforms and watch the full episode with video on our YouTube channel. Check out our website with all of the links and descriptions. It's down there somewhere in the show notes. You'll get it. Okay, love you. Bye!